My name is James Merriam. I'm the Director of Spiritual Life here at Villa Gardens. This is just a great chance for you to get to know some of the wonderful residents and staff here at Villa Gardens. Just to give you a little bit more background into some of the great people that live and work here. There's a lot of us, and so sometimes it's hard to get to know everyone. But hopefully by listening to this, you'll find out a little bit more about one of your neighbors or one of the staff here at Villa, and you'll have a great conversation starter the next time you see them. This is not professionally done. This is done in my office on a computer, so there may be some glitches or poor audio quality at times, so please forgive that. But I hope this is a blessing to you, and I hope that you enjoy. All right, I'm here with Silvia Samuelson. My first question is, wie geht es mit dir?
That is pretty good. Well, mir geht es gut.
Okay.
Yes. Does that tell you where I'm from?
Yeah. I was going to say, well, first let's do introductions. So
Okay.
I'm James. I'm the Director of Spiritual Life here. But I think most people know you,
Yes.
Because you're kind of one of the first people that everyone meets when they come in, and I think it's amazing.
Yes.
I think whenever someone comes in for the first time, I always see you kind of taking them around and showing them and kind of
Yes.
explaining things to them. But just so we can do the official introduction, just could tell again,
Yes.
just tell me your name and
Sure.
what's your role here at Villa Gardens.
Yes. I'm Silvia Samuelson. I'm the Director of Resident Services here at Villa Gardens. And I think I should elaborate a little bit.
I was going to say,
right? Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, what exactly
right?
does that
Yes,
mean? Does that mean you change tires or?
Yeah, well, I just might. Who knows? I'll give it a stab, but I probably won't be very good at it. As the Director of Resident Services, I'm an advocate to the residents, and I like to explain it in such a way that I'm responsible for anything non-clinical. Daisy Abarientos from the Wellness Center is in charge of all the nursing staff and in charge of medical and clinical issues as it relates to each individual resident. And residents come to me for anything non-medical.
Okay.
So that means helping them getting adjusted and oriented to the community for new residents that move in here and become part of our community. And then later on, once residents are established here, residents come to me for just helping them navigate anything that might be challenging for them, such as helping them with miscellaneous business things in relation to maybe bills and so forth, trying to navigate that. And then, of course, when residents transition from one level of care to another, I work with the resident and the family to bring in resources and support for whatever the need might be.
That sounds like a lot.
Yes,
It sounds like
it can be.
Okay, so that's a very good introduction. That was a very good explanation.
Okay.
It's almost
Thank
like
you.
you practiced it.
Oh.
But you haven't
Well, I
done
do it every day and
I
have been
know.
doing it for 23 years.
For 20. Well, don't jump ahead. That's one of my
okay.
questions a little bit later.
Oh, okay. I don't want to ruin it for
But
you.
let's go back to the beginning, as they say.
The beginning of time.
Yeah. So where were you born?
I was born and raised in Germany.
In a specific
In
place?
20 minutes outside of Frankfurt. I think Frankfurt is what is mostly, known, commonly known. And I grew up 20 minutes outside of Frankfurt in a city called Aschaffenburg.
Aschaffenburg.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
Yes,
Was
long
my,
ago.
Was my German good?
Yeah, it was very good.
Okay, my
It
one
was very
sentence.
good. You
Okay.
sounded very authentic.
So where do you consider home now? How long have you been?
I've been here since 1979.
Wow.
So I've been here longer than I've lived in my hometown in Germany. So definitely I consider Southern California and America here my home.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've become a United States citizen.
When did you do
So
that?
it's official. I'm staying.
They can't kick you out now. When did you get your citizenship?
I got my citizenship probably maybe under 15 years ago. It hasn't been that long, considering I've been here for a long time, since 1979, and I just did it like 15 years ago.
Well, that's good.
Yes. Yeah.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
It always sounds so much harder when I hear someone talk about taking a citizenship test, because obviously I'm born here. I never had to take it. Never had to take a test, but then I hear all the questions you have to answer and study and do all this stuff. So good job.
Well, part of the reason why it took me so long is in earlier years I wanted to do it, but I had a little bit of conflict with myself. It felt strange to be able to just literally kind of purchase your citizenship. Yes, you had to take a test and go through an application process, but anyway, it just took me a while to come about. So.
Oh wow! So I already asked you about your role here. You gave me a great answer. I think you mentioned this. You worked here 23 years. 23
years.
Has it always been in the same role?
So I started in the health center in Cohar's position in our skilled nursing facility, and I worked in Cohar's position.
So what is that exactly?
So doing social services in the health center, taking care of admissions and discharges, and what Cohar is doing now is what I was doing 23 years ago in the skilled nursing facility. And 9 months into that, I was asked if I would transfer over here. And so I really consider myself the first person ever here at Villa Gardens to hold the position as resident services.
Oh, wow.
Because the two people prior to me, it didn't last but a few months. So.
But they weren't you. They didn't have your skills.
I don't know. I was scared to take it because the first person lasted only 3 months and the second person lasted 6 months, and so I was a little leery, but 23 years later,
23 years, you're still here. So tell me a little bit about your family.
Yes.
Do you have any kids or grandkids?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have one son, and he lives in San Diego, and my daughter-in-law with 2 grandchildren, Chloe and Catherine. Chloe is 5, and Catherine is 2. So they're just a bundle of joy. And San Diego is a bit far, but at least it's not out of state.
Yeah.
They're local, and we FaceTime all the time, and just a great thing to be a grandparent.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you like to do with them when you see them? What is your...
Yeah, so, well, it's always playing. We go to the park, we draw. Now Chloe is reading, so we do a lot of reading, and so it's a lot of fun.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll ask you a few more questions about work life.
Okay.
Because we are at work.
Yes, we are.
But back when you were in Germany and you were growing up,
yes.
What was the first thing that you wanted to be? What job did you want to have?
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. So I wanted to be an ice skater.
Oh.
And I wanted to be a stewardess.
Do both of those sound good?
Yes, right? I wanted to be an ice skater and a stewardess.
Did you ever do ice skating?
So I did. Okay. I did do some ice skating. I'm not as, obviously, our Sibby Minton here, our ice skater extraordinaire. But so I did some ice skating. Nothing really to speak of, just playing around.
Oh, well. That's...
Yes.
Better than me. I fall down a lot when I ice skate.
Yes.
What was your very first job?
In America?
Anywhere.
Yes, my very first job. Yeah, so really, my very first job I would consider working here, locally here in the city of Tewardey, working for a psychiatric facility. teaching life skills to 300 schizophrenic patients.
Oh, wow.
That facility is still there. It's in
wow.
Duarte.
Okay.
And it's in a residential neighborhood. I don't think, people don't really know about it, but they take care of 300 schizophrenic individuals.
Your job was going to teach them basic
Yeah,
life.
so basically what we did is kind of like life enrichment,
Yeah.
kind of that position. Yes, like Catherine does, but for schizophrenic patients.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. When you first started at Villa,
Mm-hmm.
what surprised you?
What surprised me? So one thing that really stood out is when I started here 23 years ago, I didn't think I would last 3 months because the industry that I came from was working with low income individuals. And so it's, kind of the extreme from one to the other. And what really stood out for me here is that we don't say no to the residents. Anything a resident requests, we try to achieve. And that was very unusual from the background that I came from, with lots of limitations, where we had to say no often. No, we can't do this. No, we can't, so forth. Here, it seemed to me, and it still seems to me, that we don't say no. Anything a resident wants and requests, we try to, do the best we can to make that happen.
Yeah, we try to allow them to have the things that they need, and that really bless them and help them have a full life.
Definitely, absolutely.
That's why they come here, and
Yes.
so it's a different mindset from trying to just help someone cope with the limitations or the struggles that they have, like something with schizophrenia, to being in a place where we're trying to give them the best quality of life and give them the things that they've, will really give them a great kind of experience in life here.
Yeah, I feel, it felt like that, and it was like that 23 years ago, and I think it's still like this today.
Yeah.
We really try to honor and respect, when we say living life your way, and I think the staff really tries to, meet those expectations and try to continuously build that culture.
Yeah, definitely. So what is your favorite thing about your current job?
My favorite thing really is when I get to sit down with a resident and just kind of banter and kind of enjoy their company and learn from them and, learn about them and things that are important to them, and just the company of that is the best part. I know Catherine and Kim feel they have the best job, but I think I have the best job.
Well, that's good. That's good. No, I would agree. I think that to me is the neatest part, is getting to know the stories and the history and the life, and that's kind of why I like doing this too, because I think
I think this is great.
We have
too.
a lot of really great staff too that have wonderful, interesting lives.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I grew up in Texas, and there were some people from like Mexico and from South America, and you got to know them a little bit. But a thing I always have loved about LA is that you meet people from so many different places and backgrounds, and you work with them and you build these relationships, and so I think that's great. So there's a lot of neat residents and neat staff.
Oh yeah,
here.
no, I think we're really blessed here, and I think it shows throughout the community.
Yeah. So, I know you love work, and you have the best job according to you. But when you have a day off, what's your favorite way to spend a day off?
Yeah, so I have a lot of favorite things to do on my day off. It just depends on my mood. But I like to go for hikes. I like to go for bike rides. I'd like to spend time with my friends. I'd like to sit on my couch and do nothing and binge watch on Netflix. So I think it's a really broad spectrum on things I like to do, which I think is probably pretty healthy, or it works for me to just have a lot of variety of things.
Definitely.
Yes.
And one of the things that you do here is, though I don't think it's technically part of your job, is you do the sound bath meditation,
yes.
which I love. I go as often as
Yes.
I can. But how did you get into that, and kind of just tell a tiny little bit about it?
Sure.
Because we want people to be interested and then come.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it started a number of years ago when Dimitri, our previous executive director, asked me if I would help kind of develop a health and wellness program for our employees. And so with that, of course, stress reduction is a big thing for staff and something that staff looks forward to. So in bringing meditation and keeping in mind we have a bilingual staff, I thought a guided meditation probably wouldn't work as well because things would get lost in translation. So I had just begun to be exposed to sound bath meditation, and I thought I'd give it a try. So I went to the University of YouTube and thought I'd, take some formal education and went out and bought a couple of bowls and gave it a try. And, staff enjoyed it, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden residents showed interest. And that is where I got scared because, I thought the University of YouTube really doesn't have enough backing on it. So I actually went out and got some formal education to actually learn and understand how the bowls function and learn more about that. And so here we are, almost 4 years later.
Wow.
I think it's a popular program we do here, and I really enjoy, the residents that come to the sound bath. I think it brings a lot of, it's very meaningful to them. Yeah. So.
Well, I enjoy it, so you can't stop.
Oh,
even if no one else ever comes in, you have to keep doing it.
No, we have a regular following.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yes.
Well, we're already kind of over the time I had in my mind for how long we go.
Okay.
It's just there's too many good things to talk about. But let me ask just a couple more questions.
Okay.
So this is just kind of a random question. There's no right or wrong answer. But what's the scariest thing you've ever done, and why did you do it?
The scariest thing.
It could be a life decision. It could be skydiving. It could be.
Yeah. The scariest thing I've ever done. I don't know. Maybe not scary, but maybe just very challenging and something out of my realm of, that wasn't in my world. Well, I think probably coming to America would have been a very scary thing, but I think more so that was really out of my scope of what I do is probably just deciding that I was going to ride my bicycle from San Francisco to LA.
Oh, wow. And
then from the time I decided and had really never ridden a bicycle and didn't own a bicycle, not even as a child. So deciding to do that, and then 6 months later actually going to San Francisco and riding my bike back probably was scary, and scary in the sense of that I'm really directionally challenged. and
so that's how I ended up in Canada.
Yeah. And so the friend that encouraged me and invited me to do this bike ride, actually, she used to work here, Leslie Peters, who worked in marketing. She was the instigator of that and then bailed out. So here I was by myself and directionally challenged in San Francisco and riding my bicycle back with 2,500 other cyclists, but not knowing anyone. Yeah. So that was I felt a lot of anxiety because here I was in Daly City and trying to figure out, the pressure of always having to follow somebody and really just being on your own.
Yeah.
Was kind of scary, but kind of fun too.
I can't imagine. All right. Well, that's a good answer.
Yes.
We'll kind of end with this question.
Uh-huh.
What are you most proud of in the last year?
Oh, wow.
And it's been a rough year.
Yeah, it's been a rough year.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. I think the thing I'm not one to be proud. I like to be humble. But I think if I would pick something is taking care of summer house. That was just something that, was needed to do. And I think we did a good job with the staff we had, and trying to pull all that together is probably the thing I should be proud of.
Yeah. And just to give a little context, I know back when the COVID surge first happened and we had some cases down in Summer House.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our person who directs that had to take a leave.
Yes.
And you stepped in and helped down, not just helped, but really kind of lived down there and helped take care of people. And
working 6 days a week, 13 hours a day. It was tough, but everyone was so supportive and helpful, and even the staff that's down there that was left, we had a lot of registry staff that came in, so new staff every day, but the staff that did stay behind and was able to work, they just deserve a ton of credit. And all the supporting staff, all of you guys, that were here and supporting us and doing all that needed to be done to get us through the day and have the residents be comfortable, and supporting the families and all of it. So it was really a team effort, so that's probably the biggest thing that happened the last year.
Oh, well, I think that's definitely something to be proud of. Yeah, I think that's part of why I like this idea of just talking to some of the different staff, because I think there's so many amazing people like you, you and others who go above and beyond, and they work extra hard to make sure everyone.
I think in a crisis, that is when I think we all shine, because that is when people understand we have to pull together and understand why we're here and what's important.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I think most people, if they've been here any length of time, they've met you, but I hope maybe they've got a few more things they can ask you about now.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether it's bike riding or sound bath or Deutschland.
Yes.
But thank you so much for talking to me. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Okay, that was great. Thank you.